All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakha Kodash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Bayath, the Wada, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. So this afternoon's lesson is entitled Long-Term Growth Over Short-Term Pleasure. Okay? Long-term growth over short-term pleasure. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. Excuse me. My allergies have been messing with me lately. So we're going to go to the book of we're going to go to the book of 2 Timothy chapter 2. It's going to be verse 22. Excuse me. And it says, "Flee also youthful lusts, but follow righteousness, faith, charity, peace with them that call on the Lord out of a pure heart." Okay, so we are to, of course, resist the flesh, and resist those things that we desire, that tend to, tempt us. And sometimes we do get weak and we give in, but, that's the whole point is, you can't allow yourself to slack you. I'm sure that there's as I said, there are times when we give in, but that's the point, is you have to fight. Even when it feels like, what's the point of fighting? Just let it go. But that's where you have to fight, is where you feel as though that you want to give in. And call upon the name of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, man, that he can, take away, that temptation, so that way, it doesn't be at the forefront of your mind, and he could distract you with something else, something that's more beneficial unto you. Excuse me. This is going to be 1 Peter. It's going to be chapter 4, verse 3. It says, "For the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles, when we walked in lasciviousness, lusts, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries." Verse 4, "Wherein they think it strange that you run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you." So, yeah, in times past, we did all those things. Participate in abominable acts, give ear to worldly philosophy, other ideals, false idols, all that stuff. Revelings, banquetings, partying, and all that. But now they think it's strange that you don't, indulge in those same activities with them anymore, and they speak evil of you. They talk shit. They say bad things about you, spread rumors like, "Oh hell, he's changed. He's not the same. He's starting to act weird." Right? But that's part of being in this, that when you make that change, people are going to speak evil of you. They're going to hate you. They're not going to want to have anything to do with you anymore. Verse 5, "Who shall give account to him that is ready to judge the quick and the dead? For this cause was the gospel preached also to them that are dead, that they might be judged according to men in the flesh, but live according to the power in the Spirit." So this gospel was preached to them that are dead. That's talking about the Israelites, because at one point in time we were spiritually dead in the spirit. You know, we had no idea of what was really going on. We had no idea of the truth. You know, and that's the thing. Now that we know, excuse me. So now verse 7, it says, but the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. And the end of all things of this society is at hand. So we have to be sober-minded. Watch, stay vigilant. Stay in the spirit, man, because, excuse me, staying in this is what's going to keep your mind stable, so you don't bug out or lose patience, or, you know, go into that dark place in your mind where you just say, fuck it, I'm done trying. This is too hard. I miss, you know, enjoying the pleasures of this world, man. You can't do that, man, because if you go back to that place, you know, Yahweh Shem shall take a spirit from you. This is a fight, man, and it's, as an old saying goes, that we suffer more in imagination than we do in the physical world. We suffer more in our minds, in our heads. And that's where the spirit's at. It's right here. In your la'ab, your heart, your mind. Oh, gosh. Excuse me, I'm getting a little bit of acid reflux. Excuse me. So yeah, man, it's a fight to stay sober and watch, man. That's why prayer is necessary, because it's going to help you stay stable, stay focused. And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost when I say this stuff. All right, now we're going to go to Psalms. Psalms. Psalm 16 and 11. All right, Psalm 16 and 11 says, thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. So, you know, Yahweh Shem Shai gave us this to show us the way to life. And in this fullness, there's joy, because, you know, there's a promise coming. Eternal life, the kingdom. At that point, you know, you made it. Because, you know, this was never to be easy to begin with. What's the point of it being easy? If it was easy, shit, it defeats the whole purpose. And it says, at thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. Pleasures forevermore, which means it's going to be continuous things that are going to be so great in the kingdom. And it's just the possibilities are endless. But we first have to go through this fiery trial, the whole thing with temptation, you know, resisting the flesh as much as possible, you know. Discipline is very hard. Not to make excuses, but, you know, you got to try, you got to do it. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 25, and it says, and every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. Okay? that corruptible crown, that temporary crown, I should say, is a crown of this world, man, where, okay, you may work hard at something, you may gain it, but it's of the world. It's for fame, popularity, or whatever the case, but the incorruptible is eternal life. And that's where the true fame and glory resides. You know, just like how athletes, you know, when they lock in, they focus, they train, you know, they do certain things to abstain from certain things that are going to hinder them or slow them down. That's how we have to be in this truth, okay? The athletes, they do the mental and physical training, but we ultimately do the spiritual training, which is the ultimate training. And, you know, it's the hardest thing. Sometimes we slip up, make the same mistakes. Sometimes sometimes it takes a couple more, you know, bonks on the head in order for you to finally say, okay, I get it now. Sometimes that's what it takes, and yeah, it sucks. It really does suck. But those bonks on the head, man, they really, they teach you a hard-earned lesson, like, you know, get it together. Now you understand. This is what I've been trying to show you. This is what I've been trying to teach you. And it be like that sometimes. Sometimes it's like you want the answer now, but it's like you have to wait for it because there's a reason why you're going through this, so you can see the answer. It can be very vexing at times. It can be frustrating, but that's part of the process. Sometimes you wish you had the answer before, so that way you could avoid, you know, a mistake. But Yahweh Shem Shai has it set up in a way to where you got to make the mistake in order to learn this lesson. It sucks, but it's for your own good. It's to make you better. Sometimes it may not seem like it makes sense, or sometimes it seems so irritating. You're like, fuck. And there are times where I get that way, but I tell myself, just sit and think about it. Just sit and think, and why is it? Why is it that you're going through this? So, when it comes to long-term growth, man, you really got to sit and think about the long-term goal, long-term decisions, and how to get to that long-term goal. This is the book of Galatians. Excuse me, acid reflux is really messing with me. This is the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 8. It's for he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. So you reap what you sow, whether it be good or bad. You know, whatever energy you put out, that's the energy you're going to get back in return. That's just how it works. Another old saying for that, you know, what goes around comes around. Okay? For every reaction, there's an action. And for every action, there's a reaction. Verse 9, and let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. So, you know, yes, this journey is very tiring, but at the end of it all, it's well worth what we're going to obtain. It's all worth it. It may not seem like it, may not feel like it, but rest assured, Yahweh Shem Shai guarantees, if you stick with this, you stick with me, you'll get everything, and then some. The Lord will deliver good on his promise. We just have to correct ourselves, now more so than ever. You know, examine ourselves more, pray more, fast more, do whatever it takes to make your calling and election sure, and to keep yourself to keep yourself on the straight and narrow. Now, let's see. Yeah, that's all I had for this. So, actually, the book of Hebrews, chapter 11. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 23 says, by faith Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents, because they saw he was a proper child, and they not afraid of the king's commandment. 24, by faith Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. 25, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. So instead of enjoying the pleasures of sin for a season, he chose to suffer righteously. He chose to suffer righteously. So think about that, man. Is it worth the momentary fulfillment and give up the long-term goal? Because another old saying is, laugh now, cry later. And that's the state that the people are in right now. And they're in a state of mirth. In fact, let me get it real quick. Excuse me. Salakia, my allergies and this acid reflux is really kicking my ass. I'm gonna drink some water. Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 2, and it says, it is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. So, it's better to be in the house of mourning, to suffer affliction, to go through struggles, to grow in those struggles, than to be in the house of feasting where there's nothing but mirth, blissful ignorance, and partying and just all that bullshit. Verse 3, sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better. So by the constant affliction and adversity of the mind, it is made to grow. By this joy of living your best life and doing this and doing that, you're not gaining anything. You're just wasting valuable time. So that's all I have for this. So again, long-term goal over momentary pleasure. So even I have to remind myself of this, because there's times where, I feel like I'm doing good. I just gotta stay on that path. But there's always something where I slip and it's just like, damn, now I gotta reset. So, this is not only a lesson for all you sincere listeners and believers, but it's also a lesson for me too to learn. Okay? And with that, Lord, once again, I hope that this lesson was edifying to the body and to the few sincere believers and listeners. And with closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayatha Dawadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala, Wa Abad Babal, Shalom, Barakatam.